So I tried to play Rotten Mango Roulette, where I just like closed my eyes and picked one. I don't know what it is, but what is up with these boy chat rooms? Like, what is going on? Why are we doing this? What? Why? Why? Like, why? At this point, why? Like, what's the fucking point at this point? Like, this is disgusting, my nigga. Like, damn. Can we? Sometimes it's like, okay, can we get to a murder? But no, the murder always has something with sex. Like, it's just, bro, why are niggas so horny? I don't get it. I don't understand it. And I don't think I ever will. I'm sometimes I be thinking like, did the Lord bless me with a less horny gene? Because what the fuck? Like, y'all niggas can't control y'all horny ever. But at the same time, it's probably not even just about horny. You niggas are just disgusting animals. This Rotten Mango is titled Seven Husbands Drugged and Assaulted Each Other's Wives and Live Streamed it for their boy chat room. Who the fuck are you niggas? Like, y'all can't just have a regular family. Y'all can't just have a boy chat room where y'all talking about video games. Y'all can be a little bit childish. Like, what the fuck? Like, why? 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 And I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I had a little bit of bourbon, so it's probably gonna be one of those videos. This shit already get me hot. This shit get me mad as fuck. So let's go. This shit about to piss me off. Let's start this shit. Damn it.
Bada bing, bada boom.
James was going to take his wife to the best hotel in the city.
James.
Marina Bay Sands in Singapore.
Oh, that's pretty.
It's the three
I've seen that
buildings
before.
and what looks like a spacecraft city.
Bro, I don't know what it is. Over in like I think it's Singapore. Like the buildings are great. I don't know what type of architecture I got over there. But y'all I hope y'all got like a nice paycheck for that.
Sitting on top of the three buildings.
Yes.
The top is actually the largest infinity pool in the entire world.
Really?
It is like the equivalent of being in a pool on the 100th floor.
That's
about 1,001.
That's scary. I don't care how luxurious it is. That is scary.
100 feet up in the sky. It's a 5-star hotel that a lot of couples in Singapore, they'll even do staycations there. Because truly, like, what is more romantic than taking a swim overlooking the entire city?
I just realized what staycation meant. Kyla told me what that meant. That means staying in your surrounding area. I didn't know. I thought staycation meant like you stay at the vacation. I didn't.
And it's not cheap. The most affordable room starts at around $500 a night. But you can also book a lover's suite. That's going to cost you around like $1,500
Ain't that much love going around
per night. This is a luxury resort. But James didn't care. He said no expenses are going to be spared. He just really wanted to splurge on his wife, Jennifer.
I don't trust
They were
this.
going through the thick of life. They're raising 4 daughters together. I mean, nothing in life at this point seemed easy anymore. Everything about being a parent was just exhausting. And both of them deserve some rest.
Okay.
So they spent all day just lounging in hotel robes, going to the spa, ordering room service. By the end of the night, Jennifer excused herself to the restroom to go take a shower. James is waiting in the hotel room, waiting for the water to turn on.
You know, before we get to this, I guess I just want to add some dumb Seb moments, I guess. I never gotten room service before I went out the country. And like, I don't really think I'm the type for resorts. That's too much for me. I don't know. I don't like being like pampered like that. I hope that don't sound bad, but it was a good experience. It was great. Like something to do once in a while. I think everybody should if you were able to. But I don't really think you're missing out on much. I missed y'all so much. I wanted to come back to the country and just just I'd want to record videos again. You know what I'm saying? But like that luxury life, it ain't for me. I don't know. I don't aspire to do that. Maybe some nice things, like things that matter, but like excess and all that. I ain't gonna yuck nobody's yum, but I don't know. I also felt bad for some of the people working there too. It was like if they did wrong, they would like get reprimanded so bad. Like I felt bad. I don't know. And there was some people there who were like being rude. It was a good experience though, but people in the Dominican Republic are very nice though. I give them that. I don't care if they're supposed to be nice. They're nice. The customer service was great. It was really great though. So hopefully that's a good shout out to my DR people. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to y'all.
Waiting to hear the sound of his wife open and close the shower door behind her.
He gonna
And
record
then
it.
He pounced. He pounced on her phone.
What?
This was the whole purpose of the trip. James wanted to see what was in that damn phone. He went through her messages. He went through all of her messaging apps.
Damn, nigga, you scared? You scared she cheating on you or something? Shit, man. If you that scared, like, fuck. Oof.
WhatsApp, all of that. And then finally, he clicked on Facebook Messenger.
Ooh.
He starts speed scrolling through her messages. He knows exactly what he's looking for in here.
Oh.
He had a sneaking suspicion this whole time. And there it was.
What?
Messages between James's friend, Owen,
Uh-huh.
and his wife, Jennifer.
Oh, no.
So he starts scrolling to see what they're
Oh, no.
talking about. And it was bad.
What?
Jennifer, the wife, is telling Owen that they were at the Marina Bay Sands Resort.
Uh-huh.
And Owen is kind of teasingly asking her, oh, are you going to wear a bikini? Are you going to swim at the pool? Okay, it's bad, but maybe it's explainable. James keeps scrolling.
Well, don't talk about my wife bikini, nigga. Fuck wrong with you? Are you crazy? Nigga, fuck a bikini. You will get to see my wife's bikini if she posts it on Instagram. Fuck you asking if who?
There were messages James found where Jennifer, his wife,
Uh-huh.
is telling Owen all these intimate details about her marriage with James.
Is she fucking him too? What is going on? What happened to confidentiality? What? Or are they good friends too? What's happening?
She said that whenever James asks her to sleep with him, she doesn't even know how to respond. She doesn't even want to respond.
Oh.
He just isn't doing it for her anymore. If she felt obligated to sleep with him, she would just close her eyes and imagine that it was Owen instead.
You know, the amount of heartbreak I would go through, I'd probably act like shit's cool, but I know it could be a possibility. I don't know. I ain't never been married before. I'm still a young dude, but I'm just like, bro, if I don't do it for my, you know what I'm saying, I'll be sad, bro. I'll be like, damn, cuz we supposed to be in this forever and I don't do it for you no more. I'm thinking, I don't know. I think I'm very exciting. But I remember a couple of times some people said they weren't interested in me, and I'm like, damn, fuck, you want a regular dude or something? Like I'm a Gemini. I can tap into different types of personalities if you need me to, but I can't show you too much because it might be too much. But anyway, I wouldn't. Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't. I'd probably. I mean, obviously we were going to couples therapy or something because we need to have a talk. Like, why don't I do it for you no more? I'm not trying to say I'm like James. I hope James not on no freaky shit. But anyway, back to the task at hand. What you mean imagine it was Owen? You had sex when you seen his ding-a-ling before? Like, how you going to imagine it's him? You just see his face on his face?
Oh my gosh.
James had confirmation that his wife was cheating on him with his friend. James said that he just felt this like strong sense of betrayal.
I'm so sorry. Owen is his friend?
Owen is James's friend. But he didn't even feel the betrayal coming from his wife. He felt it coming from Owen. They had a deal.
Oh.
Owen wasn't supposed to flirt with James's wife.
See, there we go. There we go with that swinger shit. But this is some freaky swinger shit. Boy, I thought he was gonna be mad at Owen because he's his road dog. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I'm trying to think in man brain. Who would I be mad at? Who would I be mad at if this happened? My friend or my wife? I'd say my wife. Yeah. I don't know. I probably wouldn't even be that mad, to be honest, because I'd be like, oop, knew you were going to do that one. I'm trying to act tough. I'm not tough at all.
Wife. He was only supposed to R-word her.
Huh?
How can it be R-word when they're both choosing to sleep with each other? When they're
Not even 5 minutes in, and we're on some. Okay.
both choosing to have an affair. That wasn't part of the plan.
Bruh.
James decided that day to take matters into his own hands.
What do you
so
mean?
on his 3-year anniversary with his wife, he would drug her, invite Owen over, and watch as Owen assaulted her
Bro, what
unconscious
the
body.
fuck?
He would end up liking this experience so much that for the next 8 years, he would find like-minded husbands on online forums, and they would drug and assault each other's wives, all the while recording it for
The chair. The chair. The chair.
their own sick pleasure.
The chair. No. Straight to the chair. Are you crazy? First off, how are you finding like-minded husbands on a forum? And how are you not on a watch list from searching this up? I always wanted to know what are these marionettes like? What is this? I never really like checked these out to like tap into it. Like, oh, what is this? Are y'all the mangoes? What's going
We would
on?
like to thank today's sponsors who have made it possible for Rotten Mango to support the National Network to End Domestic Violence. They are a nonprofit that focuses on creating a social, political, and economic environment in which partner-related, workplace, and stalking violence no longer exist.
Yo, Stephanie really got like the connects. Shout out to her and these like foundations.
They also provide legal resources that are very easy to read in simple words and provide survivors with how to get a restraining order and so much more.
Okay.
I'm going to leave all the links in the description. But this episode's partnerships have also made it possible to support Rotten Mango's growing team of dedicated researchers and translators that work from all around the world. And we would also like to thank you for your continued support as we work on our mission to be worthy advocates of these causes.
Okay.
As always, full show notes are available at rottenmangopodcast.com. This case does involve heavy conversations of essays, so if you're not in the headspace for that, or if you feel like, okay, maybe this is too much, take it easy. Go watch a funny show, relax,
Watch
and
a
just
funny
remember
show.
to take care of yourself. We will see you in the next one. With that being said,
All right.
this case does take place in Singapore, and due to their intense privacy laws, all parties involved in today's case cannot be named, not even
What?
the perpetrators, due to gag orders imposed by the court.
What?
In most online articles, all the perpetrators are given a single letter alias, so J, K, L, M, N, O, P. And in court documents, they were referred to as CEG, CEK, CEL, and so on and so forth.
Oh, wow.
Which just make it so incredibly hard to follow for this episode. So I'm going to give everyone involved a nickname with their court-designated letter to make it easier to follow.
Okay,
And
thank
for
you.
clarity, the nicknames of the wives of the perpetrators are going to start with the same letter. So for example, James is J, and his wife will be called Jennifer in this episode.
All right.
Kevin, his wife will be called Kathy in this episode.
Kathy.
And so on and so forth. And so one last disclaimer before we get started.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, this case takes place in Singapore. And this is not, I mean, I don't think I need to say this, but this is not a representation or even a judgment of Singapore or Singaporeans.
Right.
Evil people literally exist everywhere, and it's not like they exclusively stay in a single country. In fact, Singapore has one of the lowest crime rates in the whole world. So just keep that in mind. And as always with foreign cases, if there's anything more that you'd like us to know about the case or something that's been miscommunicated, please leave it in the comments.
Wouldn't if your country literally has like the lowest crime rates and you do a crime that's so heinous, shouldn't you get like the max? Shouldn't you get the max penalty? Cause you really trying to ruin our reputation, gang. You're not even gang. You trying to ruin our reputation, you nasty fucker. Don't that mean max penalty? I really hope that they ain't get no. Cause judging by this being said, I really hope they got a hefty punishment. Very hefty, like heftier than hefty bags.
Now, let's get started.
Let's go.
James was a former safety officer who is now trying to make a name for himself live streaming. He had set up all the cameras and he was researching up the mics. He didn't set up the mics yet because they're a bit trickier. He needed to think a little bit more about where am I going to put it? Where's the best placement for the mics to pick up all the good sounds?
Ew.
But at least the cameras were up. So
Ew.
he starts live streaming straight away. He's texting all of his friends a link to his live stream and he's asking if they could kindly come and support him. Almost every single one of his friends showed up to every single live stream in the beginning. Even though there were no mics set up, they couldn't hear a single thing that James was doing or saying. Nothing, just video, no audio.
Just a quiet sexual assault, huh? That's fucking disgusting.
They showed up to give their unwavering support and encouragement. They were James's brothers, you know? After his lengthy live streams that usually happened in the middle of the night,
Ugh,
his friends would stay up even if they had work the next day just to watch, just to support. Afterwards, his friends would flood the group chat with, "Nice show. That was very well done. You thought of every
Ew,
detail."
why he wipe his hands like that? Oh, I didn't like that in this context. Yeah, you can't even say like, you ain't got a job? Like, why are you up there? These people have jobs. These people have like lives, and y'all are looking at these type of lives. That's nasty, bro.
Yeah, we loved it. You keep getting better and better at this.
Huh?
Keep it up. James is getting off on this praise. He would smile, dim the lights on his phone so that his sleeping wife wouldn't see what he's doing, and he would rewatch his own live stream.
This nigga's
The
crazy.
one way he was engaging in intimate relations with his wife. His wife was completely unaware that there were hidden cameras installed in the corner of their bedroom ceilings, live streaming everything to James's closest friends.
Bro. Bro, I feel so sorry for your wife, bro. What the fuck? Ew.
His family friends, his best friends,
That's
and all of
crazy.
his little online buddies that he met on Sammy Boy. Have you heard of Sammy Boy? So the forum Sammy Boy has two worlds. You've got Sammy Boy Alfresco Coffee Forum and then the
means
Asian
fresh
Values
coffee.
Forum. So the Sammy Boy Alfresco Coffee Forum is not about coffee.
What Sammy Boy is a
It's like a website. It's like Reddit, right? Reddit.com, SammyBoy.com. But there's two sides of Sammy Boy. So imagine if there's like the regular side of Reddit and then the dark side of Reddit. I mean, you could
So
argue
Reddit?
that is how Reddit operates. But Sammy Boy is pretty distinct in how different it is. So the light side of Sammy Boy is called Sammy Boy's Alfresco Coffee Forum. And contrary to the name, it's not about coffee. I mean, this part of Sammy Boy really does
AFCF?
kind of feel like Reddit. A little bit. I mean, it's much less moderated than the big subs on Reddit, but to just give you a general idea, the top threads of the day on this part are usually linked to current events, current news, religion, immigration, conversations about international news, what's going on with the local government in Singapore. People go on there to talk about just all sorts of random things. They go there to get opinions, to ask questions, to analyze everything that's happening in the news cycle. That's the lighter side of Sammy Boy. The dark side of Sammy Boy is called the Asian Values Forum. What a name. So that
To
side
what?
of Sammy Boy is infamous, and it's frequently in mainstream media news cycles for how
Well, AVF, like Asian Values Forum, AVF is also like a porn thing, I think. It's like Adult Videos Foundation or something like that. I don't know. Don't ask me how I know that. I promise you I'm not telling on myself. I just watch a lot of like different podcasts.
having explicit materials, trafficking, illegal hidden spy cam footage, and illegal upskirt photos being uploaded onto that forum. Now, side note, if you go to Sammy Boy's FAQ page where they have, all the frequently asked questions, they named the explicit side of their forum Asian Values because originally it was called the commercial scene in Singapore.
The fuck? The fuck?
But a lot of people complained that they couldn't look at it while they were at work
Oh, really?
because of the URL domain. Their bosses
Wait,
would
so
pick
this
up
is-
on it.
oh, so they're not hiding this information? Like this
No.
is like publicly like, hey, come to my site for these type of content.
You
Ew.
don't understand how many hours me and a few of the other members on the RM team have been on SammyBoy.com basically
Bro.
the past,
So it is a very like questionable forum.
Ugh.
very questionable. I will say it doesn't even compare to Reddit in how questionable it is. I know that Reddit has kind of a sour history where a lot of dark things have happened through Reddit, but Sammy Boy is like unregulated town. I would maybe consider it more on par with 4chan.
Oh my
is the
gosh.
vibe.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Oh,
It's really intense. Now, a lot of people complained when it was called the commercial X scene in Singapore. They couldn't look at it at work because their bosses would get a list of all the URL domains that they would access while they were at work. And that's very obvious that it's a nasty website. That's why they changed it to Asian Values Forum, which is considerate, I guess. So the forum was started as a Yelp page for sex work. Now, to give you some more context, sex work is legal in Singapore, but it is highly, highly, highly regulated. There's only one single legal red light district in Singapore. There are more than like 100 brothels in there, but they're heavily monitored by a division in the Singapore police force. Each brothel has to be properly licensed, and it's estimated to cost about $1 million to even set up a brothel.
Is that good? Is that good? I'd want something like this to be regulated, right? That's good, right? Yes? Yes.
The law dictates that each brothel has to organize regular medical checkups for the workers. All the workers themselves have to be licensed and come from one of the 5 following countries: China, Vietnam, Thailand, Malaysia, and Singapore.
Oh, okay.
All of them need to be medically registered in Singapore. So it started as a place to review different brothels and different happy ending massage therapy places. It's like Yelp for the red light district.
Okay.
That's why it started, the forum. And while some of that still exists, it's kind of branched off into this general conversations about anything explicit. It's just dumped onto Sammy Boy. There are threads for explicit fantasy stories, threads for conversations about special interest.
What does that mean?
kinks, Right?
Oh, gosh.
And it's just a general place for people to gather and talk about very explicit things.
You know, I'd like to think like there's places for people to congregate on things, but I also think like those places where you congregate on some nasty shit, you probably you need to be monitored, sir. You need to get the fuck up out of there.
But there is barely any moderation.
Huh?
I mean, it's kind of weird. It seems like they take moderation seriously when it comes to things like shit posting. That's what they call it, where you just like mass post the same thing on different threads. But not much moderation in the sense of posting questionable, if not illegal, content. Sammy Boy themselves wrote on their website, "Juvenile crap will be deleted. This forum is not for pimple-faced teenagers to discuss their first wet dream or to ask about where the girl's body parts are located. If you want to learn about the basics of adult activity, ask your teacher or your dad. Sammy's forums are designed for experienced fornicators."
What?
Wow.
You can even pay a premium monthly membership, which is about $18 a month. And that comes with a promise that the content that you post will not be moderated at all. So it's kind of turned into this breeding ground for questionable activity. The header of the premium membership says, "Please note, this forum is full of homophobes, racists, lunatics, schizophrenics, and absolute nut jobs. If you believe that content generated by unsavory characters might cause you offense, please leave now."
I mean, hey man, this would tell me to go. I'd leave. Why would? I mean, I wouldn't even be here. But shit, you did. Thank you for telling me that this forum is full of like not so great people. Appreciate the disclaimer. The other forum is here, so please stop asking. Damn, fucking asshole.
Sammy Boy admin and staff are not responsible for your hurt feelings should you choose to read any of the content here. To give you even more context on what kind of threads can be found on there, many threads are some sort of variation of "come share your wife pic." Yeah, which is done with or without the wife's consent, and usually we're talking about explicit photos. We're not talking about profile pictures. Another one is called "upskirting my employer."
Nigga.
Both are explicit threads, and the upskirting employer thread is just
How do you even get that type of picture? Like how how do you even pull that off? That's ew, bro. Ew.
I mean, it's really illegal. It's exactly what it sounds. It's for people who want to post illegally taken upskirt photos of female colleagues in the workplace.
Fuck.
Which, I mean, we've heard of this happening in subways or very busy areas where people feel like they can just take upskirt photos of strangers. But to take
nasty.
illegal upskirt photos of your colleagues that you're interacting with on a professional level on a daily basis, it's like a notch above on the scale of messed up and illegal.
Nasty.
There's explicit revenge videos posted on Sammy Boy. Pictures and videos of girlfriends and wives being shared without their knowledge nor their consent. And you would think that most people would be so turned off by this. I was getting freaked out on there. I genuinely felt like the FBI was going to knock on my door because I don't know why so much of the threads just felt so illegal. I'm like, how am I accessing this website?
This sounds
Sounds
super illegal.
nuts.
Like, I don't know how any of them are not being investigated for the things that they're doing, you know?
A lot of people were arrested because of Sammy Boy.
Oh,
Right,
wow,
And this is
good.
probably one of the biggest ones, but it's still operating like very similarly to what it was before. It's just crazy. I mean, you would think that most people would be turned off by something that's so blatantly illegal and immoral. But one college student from Singapore, who is an active user of Sammy Boy, he said, I actually go to Sammy Boy for the non-consensual content. He said it was so much better than the conventional X-rated websites because in those videos, he's like, there's like a whole production team. There's paid actors. They're not really having fun.
So you think the ones who are like not consenting are the ones who are having fun, right? That's what you think. And you told people about this. You need to look out for that one.
They're not really like enjoying the activity, whereas the content on Sammy Boy, it's so much more authentic.
What the fuck?
He said he was addicted. He said the only way he would stop consuming this illegal content is probably the day he dies.
Bro, what?
He said sometimes if he sits there for too long and thinks about it, he kind of feels a little guilty for enjoying such content. But then he thinks, you know what? No matter what, someone's going to post this content. And just because I stop watching doesn't mean people will stop posting.
What does that have to do?
So if the content is out there and I watch it and I don't watch it, like what difference does it make?
That's literally like saying like, oh, the product is there. I should just steal it. It's there. It's an open gateway. It's a nice little 40-yard dash to the door. Let me just steal this Best Buy TV. Like, nigga, huh?
He said, I know it's wrong, but what can they do to me?
What do you?
He said technically he's just streaming explicit videos, which is legal. The people that should be in trouble are the ones uploading and downloading the content.
Why would you say this?
And a few did get in trouble. There was this fantasy story writer on Sammy Boy who was jailed for uploading hidden camera footage to accompany his stories. So he would write
What?
these really intense, vulgar,
Ew.
X-rated stories, like fantasies. They're fake, fictitious stories. But then he would throw in real life hidden camera footage pictures to
What
accompany the
the
stories at the right parts where he felt like, ooh, this matches the scene. But the worst part of all of this is the explicit photos that he used were all women that he personally knew. He went into his mother-in-law's house and installed secret cameras into her bathroom. He took photos and videos of his sister-in-law showering, uploaded them to Sammy Boy. He's
Bro.
a church guy. He went to all of his church friends' houses.
Of course he's a church guy. Because why not? Church people be freaky as fuck for some odd reason. Like, gosh.
And installed hidden cameras into one of his church friends' homes,
Yo.
watched her shower, uploaded it to Sammy Boy.
Ew.
He was finally caught, but there's more. There's so many incidents like this.
Do we know what his sentence was?
A few years. And I mean, this forum just gives very, 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 very strong bro energy. And I'm not just saying that. A lot of the commentators on there actually call each other SBF bro, which means Sammy Boy Forum bro. There's a whole Sammy Boy dictionary that you can go to, which has shorthand abbreviated terms. And a lot of them deal with women's bodies and actions.
Ew.
Arma means when there's three parties involved in explicit activities. There's a word for a regular looking average girl. There's another word for a hot girl, a hot female. That's what they call it.
Bro, they're so crazy. This is so crazy. They have their own language. This isn't normal. This isn't normal. This is not normal. This is terrible.
Thailand is abbreviated into LOS, the land of smiles. And I'm sure that they're not referring to the TripAdvisor recommended activities to
fuck?
do in Thailand. I'm sure they're hinting at the industry in Thailand. Then you have papaya farm, which means whorehouse. PCN means lousy service. And you know what kind of service I'm talking about. There's OMFIAMP, which I felt like was unnecessarily long, but it stands for one man's food is another man's poison, which is typically used to describe women that you think are ugly, but other people think are pretty. And there's EMA. This is a very commonly used term on Sammy Boy,
Does it
and it
eat my
stands
ass?
for extramarital affairs.
Oh.
There was a post made on Sammy Boy about a woman who found out that her husband was cheating on her through his Sammy Boy account. He was using the forum to look for happy ending massage parlors that give extra services. Her husband was in the comments giving reviews of some of these places, saying things like, oh, the service at this place was not bad, smiley face. And this woman, this wife, she took to Sammy Boy to kind of talk about how she has very low self-confidence from all of this. She did some investigating, and it turns out that her husband made the account right after she gave birth to their first child. And now she thinks about it, and she says, maybe it's my fault. Because after I gave birth, he tried to initiate intimate relations, and I just wasn't in the mood after giving birth. But now I'm wondering if maybe it's my fault because I kept saying no. So now he's on Sammy Boy looking for, ex-workers.
Girl, it's not your fault. That is a natural thing that happens. You should not feel bad that this nigga's too horny. He can't control his horny. That is not your fault.
The original post was on a different website and forum, and she was genuinely looking for advice. It got reposted to Sammy Boy. The comments were brutal. They wrote, dumb woman, if you treat him like a man that he deserves to be, all this wouldn't have happened. This woman should go and learn from those derogatory term for Chinese women.
Oh, no.
On how to seduce women.
Oh, my God.
The only way to prevent your hubby from starving is to, quote, feed him with as much activity as possible. The lady in the story clearly took things for granted. She practically pushed him into the brothels. What an idiotic woman. So, yeah. That's what's on Sammy Boy. And
bro, people be so mean on the internet. Like, why are you so fucking disgusting? Like, why? Like, you don't even have to. Like, the thing is, like, it don't take like, why are people so mean?
You know how on Reddit there's subs that you can go on and ask for relief?
And I know why people are mean, but just like, it's just like, ew. Like, you say these things to people. Like, you're not talking to a bot. You're talking to a fucking human.
Relationship advice. Knowing what you know now about Sammy Boy, would you go on there with the intention of finding real applicable tips on how to better your relationship?
Hell no, nigga, hell no.
It's like the last place that you would post about it.
Exactly.
Like, is this really the place to go to learn about how to be better connected to your partner?
No.
I mean, I went to the most generic thread for marriage advice on Sammy Boy. The original poster was asking about what being married is like and any advice since he's about to get married soon. Which, side note, even the original post was so alarming. The OP wrote, I guess my girlfriend's biological body probably needs a home. I really do like her, so I don't really mind marrying her. It ends with, any good and sound advice from you senior guys here who have been through this life-changing milestone? The top responses are, marriage is not a word, but a sentence. A life sentence. And the classic, you're not very smart, boy. Why buy a cow when the milk is very cheap at the market? And another, you can still cheat on her while she's at university.
What the fuck?
Someone commented, post her photo. That's needed to make a sound decision. Which leads me, again, to believe, perhaps, this is not the best place to be looking for marriage advice.
Not
like,
real
if you
shit,
genuinely
bro.
want to work on your marriage, right? James disagreed. James had some very intense relationship marriage trauma that he wanted to talk to someone about. To give you some context, James and Jennifer, they got married in 2008. 1 year into the marriage, Jennifer was pregnant with their very first daughter. They're going to go on to have 4 daughters, right?
Oh, okay.
But this is their first kid. This is such a beautiful moment for the both of them.
So you got
They're
4
both so
daughters.
excited. They're nesting. They're setting up the nursery. And James is continuously showing that excitement by sleeping with another woman the whole time that Jennifer is pregnant with their daughter. Jennifer catches him. Now, we don't have more details on this, but we do know that she probably found out, and for a long list of reasons, she ends up staying with him. It's pretty clear, though, that the infidelity while she's pregnant, I mean, it's going to take a massive toll on their relationship. It's going to take a massive toll on her mental state. James said that Jennifer would bring up his cheating all the time. And each time she brought it up, she would have so much anger and hurt in her voice, and she would say something along the lines of, well, if you can cheat on me, I can cheat on you too, you know?
I mean,
James
shit.
wrote on the Sammy Boy.
Hey, Slim, I'm gonna be. Hey, I'm not gonna lie. It's not right, but hey, man, you literally opened that door. You dead ass open. You opened that door. You know what I'm saying? Like you literally changed the dynamic of your marriage. She has a right to do that. Like, I just want to say this right now. Hey, to all the people who be cheating and shit, I just want y'all to know. Think about what would happen if the shoe was on the other foot? How would you feel? And then make that decision. Make that decision, because everything in the dark comes to light. Like, everything in the dark comes to light. So it's like, if you fall into that temptation, be prepared for that shit to be thrown back at you, my boy. Like, that shit is going to come up. Like, you can't hide nothing like that forever. You're literally breaking vows and shit. Like, hey, I say she can get her lick back if she can. Shit. Fuck, he gonna have to deal with it. He the one that can't put his dick in his pants.
For him that his wife was making him, quote, live in fear and anxiety.
That's so. Oh, you live in fear and anxiety because you couldn't keep your pee-pee in your pants while your wife was pregnant, huh? You couldn't just masturbate? Like, in all honesty, honestly, bro, like, it's a lot of things that you can do. I know it sounds vulgar, but keep it a bean, bro. Like, you shouldn't have gotten married if you was. And I've heard that this is like a common thing too. I'm so sorry, y'all.
He said he was living in fear. He was worried, so sick of worrying, and so anxious that his wife might actually cheat and be unfaithful.
It's not cheating now, in my opinion. I don't think it's cheating. You're not cheating. The game is already fucked up. Like, she's getting her lick back. She's getting even. An eye for an eye, nigga. Be a man and suck it up. Like, what the fuck? But then this guy's on this 4chan ass website. I don't really think he got the wherewithal to deal with that.
And the idea of that made him want to throw up.
Oh.
While he is worried sick, he showed his wife a video of 2 men and a woman, okay, doing intimate things. And he tells her, this is something I want to do. She told him, are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? I'm not doing that. We're not bringing another man into our bedroom. And he goes on to Sammy Boy to say, after everything that we've been through, after she keeps rubbing this in my face, like, well, I can cheat on you too. She can't even give me this. On one hand, he's living in fear that his wife is going to cheat on him. On the other hand, his ultimate fantasy was to have another man join them in the bedroom. And
Really? That's his ultimate fantasy? Eiffel Towering? That's interesting. I don't really yuck nobody's yum unless it's non-consensual. All right.
she just turned him down. So he goes on to Sammy Boy to vent out all of his frustrations.
He a bitch.
Now, we don't really know exactly what kind of responses or advice he was receiving, but this is a website that has a full-on thread of men even debating the pros and cons of cheating on their wives. There's a whole thread. I was on there for like an hour because I was just so appalled.
There's easy pros and cons, honestly. Pro, you get another woman. Cons, nigga, you might get divorced. Your whole life is fucked up. You were seen as a cheater. Your wife hates you. She can cheat back. Nigga, you're putting your wife at risk for diseases. You're putting yourself at risk for diseases. Your discipline is ass. You like it's so many cons. What's the pro? You got your rocks off with another woman? Oh, another pro. Oh, you get to be a little risque and you got more adrenaline when it comes in. Oh, y'all just don't do it in places where you're not supposed to do it. Oh my gosh. Like 2 pros, 75 cons. I didn't even name all the cons. Like
Pros and cons of cheating.
On your wife.
I wonder if they write any cons, or is it just all pros, no cons?
Yeah, some people wrote cons.
I don't see any pros in that. I honestly don't see any pros in that. Like, ooh, I get my cake and eat it too. I get to have multiple women. No, I don't want that. The fuck?
And they said, once trust is broken, it's broken. Which is a very generic thing to say. But one commentator wrote, I guess when the opportunity comes, I cheat. If my wife does the same, though, I can't accept it.
Are you like a Don or something? Like, you like, you him, ain't you? What do you mean when an opportunity comes? What does that mean? Like, women are just throwing themselves at you or something? Like, are you like Jason Momoa or some shit. Like I don't, I don't know. Like what niggas be funny.
A painful revenge is the easy way out. Why do I do this? And why am I like this, you ask?
You're a
Because I'm an
pig.
asshole and I don't give a f. The truth is, I'm quite sure that I'm no different than most of the men on this thread. So that's great.
Wow.
One person wrote the idea that they don't think cheating is good. They said you should not cheat, but they said it like this. I think sexual desires and needs will never be fully fulfilled. There are certain fantasies which I can never tell my wife about. Also, I can't turn her into a hot Latina model, but I gotta use my brain.
Gosh,
So I'm not gonna cheat on my wife.
bro, what?
This is the pool of people we're dealing with. And when James goes to write about how his wife has been holding a grudge against him since he cheated on her while she was pregnant, he said he knows this because she, quote, repeatedly tells me that if I can do as such, she can do the same as well. Since then, I have been living in fear and suspense. He also stated recently that Jennifer, his wife, has been acting cold towards him, and there's been a shift. He suspects that she is sleeping with her boss. They've been getting closer and closer together. It doesn't even feel like a work relationship anymore.
This nigga's an idiot. Oh my gosh.
He said, I'm worried that this is heading towards something that might go wrong. He posts this and the comments start pouring in. Personally, I think they're ill-advised suggestions, but they're all along the lines of, if she stayed with you after you cheated on her, that means she forgave you. She can't hold this over your head. And you shouldn't have to live in fear all day, my poor sweet boy. Have you thought about setting a trap for your wife?
Huh?
At least that way you'll know for sure if she's cheating or not.
Bro, it's pretty simple. Like, and this is me, 25 years old, with a good amount of experience in this life, but haven't had the experience of getting cheated on while I've been in marriage. Dog, if she takes you back, that means she forgave you. Yes, you shouldn't have to deal with her bringing it up all the time, but you're staying. You fucked up. You are going to deal with this. Like, it's not like if you want to stay, you're going to deal with this. It's not really if, ands, or buts. If you don't like it, fucking leave. You was able to leave and go nest somewhere else. You obviously can leave now, right? Either that or you just give her the whole pass. Nigga, like, what the fuck? Like, what do you want? You can't have everything. You literally can't have everything. Like, I don't know who the fuck you think you are. You can't have everything. What are we talking about here?
At least that way you don't have to deal with the anxiety of not knowing for certain.
Oh, the anxiety of not knowing that my wife is going to cheat. Nigga, oh my gosh. I'm not gonna lie. I've experienced the brunt of people wanting to do what they want to do, bro. If she's gonna cheat on you, cuz she's gonna do it. Like, you need to get over that. Honestly, like even if you didn't cheat first, you need to get over that fact. I'm keeping it stacked. You need to get over it, because you are in the mindset that you're in. You just need to get the fuck over that shit, bro. Especially and you literally press the red button. You press the red button. Like, what? Like, you think other guys don't want your wife? And now she got this, and now she literally has this battery in her back if she wants to use it. Like, she literally can be sneaky and do it. Like, what are we talking? Like, who do you think? Get over that anxiety, you nasty fuck.
That is when James decides to set up a honey trap. These are services that you can actually purchase to test your partner's loyalty. They exist not just in Singapore, but like all over the world. You could do it in the US. I've seen TikTokers do it.
I've seen
There's
them
one
too.
TikToker who made her whole career off of being a honey trap, or what they call it, like a honey. So this is very different from hiring a private investigator because you have suspicions that your partner is cheating. This is hiring someone to go out of their way, hunt down your significant other online or in person, and flirt with them. See if they're willing to cheat on you. This is a honey trap. Nowadays, you can pay a platform about $100, hire a tester to flirt with your partner online to see if they'll respond.
I honestly think, like, if I'm dumb enough to do this, I would just assume that she would fall for this. And now we're at this point, like, oh, damn. What are you gonna do now? Oh, I can't believe you did this to me. Questioning. Here comes some questioning. Hey, how did you know we were here? Oh, you gotta answer that. I was just in the neighborhood and like, oh my gosh, people are so fucking stupid.
And if they ignore it or flat out deny the tester, that'll be sent to the wife or the husband. And these days, the honeys, the testers, they never even meet with their subjects. It's all done online.
Oh,
They just message them, trying to get a response out of them. They send screenshots to the partners as proof. But James wanted more. He's like, if I'm setting a honey trap for my wife, they're going to sleep with my wife. It's really weird because James did not want to divorce his wife.
why?
So I have heard of people trying to do honey traps when they're in custody battles. They'll hire a professional honey to try and get some sort of evidence of an affair, of infidelity, because this works against them in child custody battles. But this, I don't know what James's end game is here. He's just trying to be like, I don't know. He just wants someone to sleep with his wife. And he felt like this guy named Owen from Sammy Boy was the perfect fit. James chose Owen because Owen drove a BMW. Yeah. James said, I chose him eventually because my wife's ex-boyfriend drove a BMW. So I assumed. I mean, based off that assumption, it seems like James thinks his wife is someone that's just interested in material goods and would be tempted by any man that drove a BMW. He decides, okay, perfect. Owen is going to try and sleep with my wife, and I'm going to help him. Everybody else on this thread is warning James, telling him, like, do not trust this Owen guy. I'm telling you right now, things aren't going to go well for you, James. Owen has a history of being very sneaky on these threads.
So he's trying to have another guy, Owen, sleep with the wife or seduce the wife as a honey?
Seduce the wife and eventually sleep with the wife.
Oh, okay.
It's really weird.
Okay.
So he's saying, I'm so scared my wife is cheating on me. So I'm going to set up a date with her with another man so she can cheat on me.
Okay.
He dumb. He dumb.
Basically.
So he's not scared the wife that is cheating.
No,
he
he's
just want to watch it.
He just wants to watch it. Yeah, basically that's what's happening. He just wants his wife to sleep.
You know what I think it is? I think he trying to slide in that fantasy he has. You ain't slick, boy. You ain't fucking slick, you nasty nigga.
Sleep with another man. And I think he wants to get involved later.
Yeah, I was about to say.
It's just the
okay,
way that
okay.
he's like concocting all of this and pulling the strings is just so bizarre. So everybody's
win-win.
warning him, like, don't let Owen do this. This is going to backfire on you. But James said, you know, the way that Owen expressed himself, he was very confident. I liked him. So they set up all these rules that made James feel reassured. Owen was going to tell him everything that happened between the two of them. Even if it's just a mundane text message, Owen would report anything that Jennifer said to him. James told him this is the only way this plan works. Because as long as I feel like I have the power to pull out at any time, and I tell you to stop talking to my wife, you stop talking to my wife.
What if he doesn't?
That's the only way that this is going to be okay. If there's anything I'm uncomfortable with, I'm just going to tell you to stop.
Oh, I'm gonna just tell you to stop. Okay, what if he doesn't want to stop? Then what? You gonna try to whoop his ass or something? Like what? Like what is going on?
Adds Owen on Skype and they start planning together. James is like, okay, here's my wife's Facebook account. Let's set you up a new fake persona. They create a Facebook profile by the name of Brad Chan. They add some people, add some pictures to make it look
Brad
very
Chan.
realistic. And then he starts DMing Jennifer. So now Owen is direct messaging Jennifer, James's wife. And I'm sure James gave Owen the rundown of all the things that his wife likes, does.
Question: How does somebody even do this? Don't they gotta like create a new account? Don't you gotta go through like the trouble of like becoming somebody? Because I'd imagine like if I'm trying to set somebody up with my wife, I would probably think that they have to be somebody who actually exists and has like some social currency or social proof, or does he just change his name to something else? I don't know.
Doesn't like, so that they could just hit it off right away. And they do.
Oh,
Every single day, it seems like James is obsessively checking his phone for reports from Owen. He wants to know, what did she say? Did she flirt with you? Did she send you a picture? Did you guys respond? Are you guys going to meet up yet? When?
damn.
So the two, Owen and Jennifer, they talk online for about a month until finally Jennifer agrees to meet up with him in person.
Oh, hell
They
no.
go to the local park to grab dinner. And I don't know what James is feeling. I'm sure it's a mix of emotions. I'm sure he's upset that his wife would actually meet up with another man. And for a romantic dinner date at the park with all of that, I mean, there's probably some sort of anger there, right? But he also seems oddly excited. He wanted Owen to report back every little detail about that first date.
This nigga's crazy.
And I feel like we all know how this is going to end.
Bro, he's a cuck. Like,
It's not going to end well.
no, it's not.
After the dinner, Owen starts messaging James again on Skype, and he's telling him, well, yeah, we shared a bottle of wine together, and intimacy-wise, we did hold hands for a while. Then I hugged her, and we kissed. So the first date, it goes so well that the two, they make plans to meet each other again. This time that they're going to go for lunch at another park nearby.
So he's just LL Cool J and Deliver Us from Eva. Wow.
Now, after this date, this is when things start getting interesting. Owen reports back to James again. Yeah, it was more or less the same thing as the first date.
Oh, hell no.
Wine, hand holding,
Nah.
making out. Yeah, same stuff.
Nah, Owen, you like my wife, gang. Nah, you not slick, boy. Nah.
That's it. Owen apparently lied.
Yeah.
He didn't tell James that their second date went so well that the two of them found a hotel afterwards and had full sexual relations.
Oh, this nigga's, he's like, you closing off the second date? Damn, bro. Congrats. Actually, no congrats. Fuck you. You're on that damn website.
And maybe sneaky little Owen was starting to like Jennifer because he starts distancing himself from James.
Oh.
He starts acting like the whole thing with James's wife is kind of fizzling out. We're not really talking anymore. She hasn't really responded. We're not really into it anymore. When in reality, Owen and Jennifer are texting even more now. They're getting even closer.
How do you...
This goes on for like 2 months until October 26, 2010.
Oh, shit.
James took his wife on a staycation, the one at the Marina Bay Sands, found the text messages of her talking about how she wishes she was sleeping with Owen instead of her husband, and James immediately confronts Jennifer. But instead of telling his wife, hey, I snooped through your phone, he said, you know, our neighbor stopped by the other day to talk to me. They said that they were out and they saw you walking into a hotel with another man, holding hands. Jennifer didn't even try to deny it.
Oh,
She
shit.
just admitted it very swiftly. She's like, yeah, I'm having an affair.
I mean, shit, nigga, what did you expect? You did the thing first. What do y'all expect? You go get cheated back on, man. What did you expect, man?
But she told James that I'm done talking to the guy.
Cap.
We're no longer seeing each other, if that matters.
Cap.
Why not? Well, because he brought up the idea of a threesome. So Owen had allegedly suggested to Jennifer that he wanted to sleep with Jennifer and her husband at the same time. Jennifer has no idea that Owen even knows James. Jennifer was so grossed out by this suggestion, she blocked him on all platforms soon after.
Oh, shit.
So it seems like James forgave her, or at least Jennifer was under the impression that her husband was over it. They were moving on from it. And I'm sure Jennifer felt a little bit of guilt about what happened and how it must have made her husband feel.
Nigga, what?
She had no clue that James was the one that set Owen up to talk to her. That he had been getting detailed reports from Owen about everything that they talked about, at least in the beginning. And now she's got no clue that James is still talking to Owen over Skype. James tells Owen, change of plans. He wanted Owen to fully assault his wife while he watched.
Why?
And it was going to happen on their 3-year wedding anniversary.
Why the fuck would... What? What? What is wrong with you? What is wrong?
A symbolic moment. March 14th, 2011, James hands Jennifer a glass of wine. She takes it and
It got
she
shit in
clinks
it.
it next to his. Like, they had been through a lot. You know, marriage is tough. Having kids is rough. Overcoming infidelity is even tougher. But at least today is something worth celebrating. They've been married for 3 years. Jennifer takes a sip and
3
another.
years.
The wine was spiked with crushed up sleeping pills. It was odorless, tasteless, colorless, and it was a little weird that she felt very drunk very fast, but she could have thought maybe she didn't eat before she drank. Maybe she was
The
just
music.
drunk off the energy or the love in the house that night. And just like that, she's out cold. And this is in the safety of her home. Just like keep that in mind. One moment she's drowsy from the wine, the next minute unresponsive.
The fuck?
James texts Owen and waits for him. In the meantime, he drags his wife's limp body to the bed,
Nigga.
blindfolds her, just in case she wakes up and opens her eyes. And he's patiently waiting for this man to get here. The man who's having an affair with his wife to come over and now assault his wife while he watched.
The fuck?
James said that he has 2 distinct memories from the very first time that this happened. Because it's going to happen again. And
What?
Again, and again.
What?
And this is from James, so take it with a grain of salt. He said he remembered Owen essaying his wife.
Nigga, fuck
He
James.
remembered
nigga.
watching it. And then after he left, James said he remembered cleaning his wife up and crying and sobbing, asking himself, what have I done? What have I done?
Ain't no what have you done, boy. You did it multiple times. This is what Stephanie told me. Talking about some what have you done? What are you gonna do? What?
James said on one hand he felt so guilty, but on the other hand, there was this excitement of watching Owen essay his wife. It didn't feel real, he said. He said, even today, I cannot imagine myself standing there and watching. But he did. And then he wouldn't shut up about it. He starts going on all these random Sammy Boy threads about wife swapping, which, you know, it's not wife swapping what he's doing. And
Yeah.
he starts making friends with random people on the internet that have the same interest as him. And he shares the story of what happened with Owen. And one of the guys, his name is Matt. Matt is like, that's so intriguing. I want to be a part of this. Please let me be a part of this. James is like, oh yeah, you want a turn? Let me give you a turn. James drugs his wife Jennifer once more, making sure that she's unconscious, and waits for another man to come into
Bro, where are the daughters?
their house where their 4 daughters live. They've got 4 kids, 4 daughters,
So nobody has seen this? What?
and a man that he met online is coming over to assault his wife while the kids are asleep.
Ugh.
And he's watching yet again. This time he even took it a step further and started recording the entire thing.
Bro,
he wanted
what the
photos and videos to remember the assault by. And for 8 years, he would drug his wife, the mother of his 4 daughters. He would drug her, drag her unconscious body to the bed, their marital bed, where she's supposed to feel the safest and the
What
most
the
protective.
Fuck?
And James would invite men from the internet over to assault his wife, while he not only watched, but started taking videos and photos.
Does she not remember?
Soon, more people on Sammy Boy started being intrigued by James and his wife. They all wanted to join. James connected with a man named Kevin on Sammy Boy, and Kevin was like, James, I want the same thing that you're doing, right? But my wife, Kathy, is just like Jennifer. You know, I thought it would be perfect because your wife and my wife, like, we could swap wives, if you will. But Kathy would never in a million years.
Oh,
Like,
really?
she would never consent to it.
Oh, wow.
So
really?
they decided, okay, then Kathy can also be drugged. It's no big deal. And they start developing an MO. At this point, James had already drugged his wife before, but this is when they really start having like a system. They started drugging the woman with something called Dormicum. It is a sedative. It's categorized as a benzodiazepine, and it's unique for being very fast acting. If injected, it takes about 5 minutes to kick in. If it's taken orally, it only takes about 15 minutes. And it dissolves in water. It's odorless, colorless, tasteless. It's a terrifying date rape drug. And if you remember the Burning Sun case, this is a very similar type of drug. The drugs are metabolized and they leave the system really quickly, typically within a day. So it's even harder to catch, at least on the police
Who makes shit like this? Like, why would you make this?
investigation front. And I don't even think I need to tell you about how dangerous that is, especially since the husbands planned on mixing it with their wives' alcoholic beverages. That's even more reckless.
Right.
So they're already risking their wives' health and life by administering this sedative without a prescription, and even more so by mixing it into alcohol. A doctor who has knowledge on this said that when this drug is mixed in with alcohol, increasing the dosage without waiting to see the actual effect, coupled with the alcohol intake, there's a very high risk of oversedation, which could lead to suppression of breathing, which could in turn lead to inadequate oxygen in the blood. In severe cases, this can lead to brain damage. A sedated person is unconscious and therefore unable to avoid any visible danger and could potentially even ingest their own vomit into their lungs and die. It could be fatal. But they were like, no, this is perfect because you don't remember a single thing when you wake up. You don't even have like a feeling. It's just a blank space. Someone cut it out of your memory. Kevin invites James over after drugging his wife, Kathy, and he watched as James assaulted Kathy. So now James went from being the watcher to the assaulter. He took photos and videos, And James wanted more men to come and assault his wife,
Bro.
but he also wanted to assault more men's wives.
What the?
It's very complicated. In the end, these monsters just wanted to physically, mentally, emotionally violate the person that they're supposed to love and respect the most. And they
what
just kept
cause?
this sick little cycle going, adding more people in from Sammy Boy. Kevin invited James over to assault his wife, Kathy. Then he decided he was going to assault his wife right after James. I mean, I don't believe for a second that any of these guys felt guilty about anything that they did.
Hell no,
Even
they
now,
don't.
they're crying and moaning about how remorseful they are.
Shut up.
I don't think so. At one point, James just straight up asks and demands to assault an ex-wife of one of the husbands. So remember the guy named Matt who came over and assaulted Jennifer?
Yes.
Like, what type of code do y'all have for this nasty shit? There can't be a code for this.
They
Yes,
met through
yes.
Sammy Boy, and James helped Matt assault his wife, Jennifer. And now he's like, it's my turn. But the problem is, Matt's like, well, I'm no longer married.
Oh,
My ex-wife, Mary, she still lives with me, but we're not together. James is like, that's fine. She doesn't have to be your wife for me to assault her. James wanted a very twisted tit for tat. Like, I give you one, an eye for an eye. Come on. So
come
he waited
on.
until Jennifer was out of town for a work trip. He told Matt to bring his ex-wife Mary over under the guise that James would have some work opportunities for her. He spiked her drink, assaulted her. So not only is James having men from the internet come over to assault his wife in their family home, but when his wife goes out of town, he's having another woman come over so that he can drug and assault her, all in their family home, where they again raise 4 daughters.
Bro, where are
Mary
the
was
daughters?
drugged, and it was said that she was slurring her words before she fell unconscious. Matt, her ex-husband, helped prop her up so that James could assault her, and they made sure to get a ton of pictures and videos from it.
Bro, how do you just sit here and just be like, yeah, I'm gonna do this to my wife? I don't like why? Like, why? Like, how do you even
Not that they needed
Ew.
to, because before Matt and Mary even got there, James had turned on all the secret cameras so that he was able to live stream the whole assault
Oh.
to all of their buddies on Sammy Boy.
What the
So it
fuck?
wasn't an open live stream where anybody on Sammy Boy could watch. You needed a password, but a lot of people could watch. When they were done, James kept Mary's undergarments so that he could gift it to one of the boys in the group later.
Ew.
He gave them to a guy named Nick. I actually did manage to find one of James's comments on a thread. In a thread titled, quote, most perverted things done, question mark, James, he had like 4 different accounts. On one of his accounts called Newbie to All This, he wrote, my most recent experience was to invite an SBF bro over to my place to watch my wifey's X videos and pics. And if they got a fetish for her lingerie, I let them help themselves to her wardrobe and laundry basket. It's so nice to see, especially young guys lusting over my wife. LOL. Can it even be considered as some sort of perversion?
Yes.
What?
Basically being like, is this really even that perverted?
Yes.
A lot of people were responding to his post, saying, wow, can you invite me too? I love panties. Hi, bro. Can you invite me over next time? I hope I can join this group. So James is loving it. He keeps posting videos and photos of his wife being assaulted by other men.
This nigga's becoming an influencer off of this freaky shit. This is terrible.
They would add little captions to the photos and videos. So Kevin would send videos to James of James assaulting Kevin's wife, Kathy. And he would write to James, it would be nice if you managed to knock up my wife, Kathy.
What?
What?
Which, like, we don't even need to go down that road of deciphering how messed up that is. They've already tried to strip Kathy of her bodily autonomy, but now they're like, let's take it a step further. The idea that she would be impregnated by her R-worder and
The chair.
her husband is encouraging that is another level of depraved.
Electric.
The men referred to their wives as sluts and planned to get more assaulters to come on board. And they really had this fantasy of impregnating their wives with the assaulters' DNA.
Why?
This part is
What?
very disturbing.
Wait, but before disturbing. Before how do you find this out? I don't. This is nasty. How is this even an option to unlock? Yo.
James, like I said, had 4 daughters, and he discussed in great detail with Owen about how Owen should come over to assault Jennifer in the kids' room while the children were asleep.
Wow.
They laughed about how their wives were too dumb to even know what's going on. They were poking fun at the fact that they, as husbands, they wanted to have threesomes. They wanted to bring another man into the bedroom. The wives said, "You're crazy. Don't ever talk about stuff like that. No, 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 no." And they said, the wives think they won. But in reality, we're still doing it. That was their whole hee hee ha ha thing. James messaged Kevin, "Women like Jennifer and Kathy, no matter how smart they think they are, they eventually get outsmarted by their husbands." Hee hee. James goes on to say, "I bet both of them still think that they're their husband's loyal wife."
Boy, y'all grown as hell talking about some hee like y'all Michael Jackson. What the fuck? Ew.
Making fun of the fact that neither of them know that other men have violated their bodies. Additionally, they talked about their wives as if they were just objects or property to be given and gifted. Kevin told James in one instant that Kathy is, quote, "always yours," implying that Kathy belongs to Kevin and Kevin is gifting Kathy to James.
No, nigga, Kathy belongs to Kathy. What the fuck? Get the fuck out of here.
On Nick's birthday dinner, this is another man that gets involved and assaults James's wife, Jennifer. On Nick's birthday, James sends him a picture of Nick assaulting Jennifer and wrote in the caption, "Happy birthday. I will always be knocked out waiting for you in bed. From your doll, Jennifer." He would also steal his wife's clothes and underwear to gift them to Nick, like a souvenir for the crimes that they've committed. Like, it's just a husband's world, and the wives are just living in it. And I think now is probably a good time for a disclaimer. There are a lot of husbands who want to watch their wives be passionate with other men. I think it goes without saying that I personally don't shame people as long as everything they do is between consenting adults and no laws are being broken. I just feel like it's not my place to have an opinion on what people are into. And I almost feel like I need to give you the psychology behind these interests that people have. Because if I don't, it does feel like in a lot of mainstream media articles, James is being grouped into this wife swapper community.
No, he not.
And
No,
it
no,
just-
no, no,
and-
no, 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 no. He is not in that. No, he not in that community. Let's not do that. No, 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 no. That's consensual. This guy is a freakazoid.
ends up demonizing a whole group of people who don't do anything wrong.
Right.
A lot of media reports say that this is a wife sharing case, a wife swapping case. But it's not really. It's an assault case.
Yeah.
Wife swapping, wife sharing, when done properly, is not illegal. So to undo some of that stigma, we're going to go down the psychology of why someone might be interested in watching their partner with someone else.
Let's do it.
And how that
I'd love to learn what that is because I am not on that type of time, and hell no.
differs from James and what he did, because James is not part of these people, right? I mean, it's very different. You'd be very surprised at how many people out there are interested in watching their wives sleep with someone else. I think it's one of those things where we can very easily react and say, well, that's crazy. Well, I could never, right? And that's perfectly fine if you don't want to. But it does seem like there's a lot of solid psychology behind the intrigue of something like this. And this is what I've been able to gather, just as a whole, from this genre, if you will. So again, this is not James psychology, because he's not part of this group, but right off the bat, the aspect that kept coming up in Reddit threads about this was the mixture of really good and really bad emotions that are really intense. They said it reminds them of Christmas. When you hear the Christmas songs and you see the lights, you smell the nutmeg and the spiced apples and the pine. It's this comforting and very happy feeling. But there's also kind of a sadness. Because you think about all the days that have gone by and how you're no longer young and Christmas is no longer stress-free. And there's almost like a kind of a mixture of sorrow. A Redditor said, just like how that mixture of joy and slight sadness makes Christmas special, it makes this whole experience special. And I'm not speaking for everyone. This is just what I could find from hours and hours of Redditing this topic. It seems like the husbands, the ones who will watch, go through a series of really intense emotions. And I do think that this can, to a degree, be applied to James, but not fully. We'll get into it. So the first emotion, they said, is excitement and nerves. It's so taboo. There's such a thrill in doing something that's considered forbidden by society. They think it's naughty, and that in itself is so exciting. You know, society says you should never cheat on your partner. You should never actively and so bluntly cheat on your partner literally in front of them.
Right.
Then they said that there's happiness and joy at seeing your partner being happy and having such unique experiences. So this is to emphasize that the wife's participation, consent, and enjoyment of this process is a huge part of why
Yes.
some husbands would want to partake in these activities. Because they are seeing their wife be happy, is what they were explaining on Reddit. One husband said, and it's also, my wife is the most beautiful woman in the world to me. I'd rather watch her than some adult actress that I don't know. So there's that voyeurism aspect. Some husbands said that it's like seeing your wife from a whole new angle. Only when you're not part of the activity can you see her from the outside and focus on like her every minute movement and expressions.
I can kind of do that if we just, and I don't need this to appreciate my wife in every detail, but go crazy, I guess. Go crazy, I guess.
And then they said this is where it gets complicated. The jealousy and insecurity starts to hit the husband. Perhaps there's an edge of embarrassment and self-doubt even. Some husbands believe the humiliation aspect of feeling weaker or lesser than or not really a man adds an extra layer of excitement to the whole process. And they said that you'll start wondering, oh, am I not good enough for my wife? And once it's over, now this is what I see a lot of husbands on Reddit at least talk about. It's called reclaiming. Between the husband and wife, they said it's one of the most intense things ever. Now, again, just from an outsider trying to understand something that's very nuanced and complicated, I kept coming across people talking about this, so I try to research it. Apparently, there's a biological side to this. Have you heard of sperm competition?
Yes.
No.
Okay, I guess to put it more eloquently, it would fall under mate guarding. So studies have shown that if a man thinks his wife may have cheated on him, the more likely he is to want to have intimate relations with her, like psychologically. Oftentimes, even the physical volume of the product that comes out at the end will be greater in volume. There will be more of the final fluid.
What?
Because biologically, I guess men are wired to try and get rid of the potential rival's product if we're like really going into like caveman thought
So you're
process.
saying scientifically studies shown that if someone found out the wife cheated, the man will have like a biological reaction.
Yes. Now, I'm not saying that they'll act on it. Like, don't go around cheating on your husbands thinking like they're going to like it. They're not going to like it, right? Biologically, there seems to be some sort of connection with more production of that. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, just going through some of the psychology of that, like the fact that a huge important part of the process so far is for the husbands to watch and enjoy their wives be happy and excited. That seems to be a main point for every single person that I came across on Reddit. Wife participation is key, not just legally, but for the whole process to even be exciting for these husbands. So it's very clear that this is like wife swapping is being demonized in this case. And it's evident that James is not a wife swapper. And if I could just be an armchair therapist for like 1 second, because think about it, the psychology and thought process here is just so unhinged. Side note, me explaining what I think is going on in this evil brain of James is not a justification nor an excuse or even trying to be understanding for someone like him. I think I'm genuinely just intrigued by his thought process. And these are all opinions, not professional diagnosis or fact. James claims he did all of this because his wife made passing comments about cheating on him. He said that he felt nonstop fear and suspicion that she was cheating on him, and his solution is to watch someone assault his wife over and over again.
The judgment, I just don't, no.
It feels like there's multiple elements here. First, maybe, perhaps, if he's not lying, he's almost trying to get rid of that anxiety or fear of his wife cheating on him by just making her cheat on him through assault.
That's crazy.
And there is the sick power that he
Yeah,
feels
I
by
was about to say.
humiliating his wife in such a ghastly way.
Yeah, I was about to ask, is this like a power thing? Like, what the fuck? This is not good.
I think if you ask any woman about one of their biggest fears in life, it's to be essayed. And to facilitate the essay of your wife, that is one of the most vengeful, spiteful, violent things I've heard in a while.
Like, you can't come back from that. Like, you actually need to go to jail. Like, under the chair. Like, you can't. No.
There's a comment I read on Reddit about this case about a different case, but I think it sums up this one really well. It says, this is about possessiveness. It's not about being a husband. It's about being an owner. He hates his wife being looked at by other guys in situations that he can't control because in his mind, she is his property. He wants his wife to have intimate relations with another guy in a situation he set up and controls because he sees his wife as property that he decides to lend out on his terms. A part of it is the importance of him being able to make his wife do something she doesn't even want to do. We don't know if Jennifer felt gaps in her memory. We don't know if maybe she was beginning to suspect something because sometimes after drinking wine with her husband, she wouldn't even drink that much, but she would wake up the next morning and have no recollection of the night before.
Oh, hell no.
We don't know if she felt suspicious about any of that. But we do know that James literally did not care. Like, he could not care less. He didn't care for her health or her mental well-being. One time, James had plans for one of the internet guys to come over and assault his wife. But Jennifer was feeling a bit sick that night. So she's like, I don't want to drink wine. Like, why would I drink wine? I'm feeling sick. Like, that's so weird. Stop pushing this cup of wine on me. I don't want a glass of wine. And he's like, okay, no, that's fine. He's being so kind. He's sympathizing with her. And he tells her, I'm going to tuck you into bed and grab some meds.
Oh,
He
hell
comes
no.
back with a pill and a glass of water. Jennifer didn't know what this pill was because, I mean, how many times have you taken a pill from your husband and you just assume it's probably Advil, it's probably this, right? And she trusts her husband to feed her medicine.
That's what y'all be doing? I just give her the actual bottle it came in so she can take it herself, so she'll know what it is. Y'all just give random Lucy pills? Like, what?
Instead, while she's sick, she's drugged and assaulted that night while her husband watched and filmed.
Oh my
January
gosh.
1st, 2020, New Year's Day, Jennifer noticed James had fallen asleep and he was watching a video on his phone. So she walks over and grabs his phone to turn off the video.
And it's...
But a new Skype message comes in from someone she didn't know.
Oh,
so
shit.
She's kind of intrigued. You know, it's an interesting username. She clicked it.
Uh-oh.
The phone opens this chat log and words just start jumping off at the screen at her. I mean, I'm sure she started feeling panicked. They were talking about how their wives are clueless.
Yes,
about how they're
expose
going to do
this
it again, when they're
motherfucker.
going to do it again, how hot each other's wives are. She starts scrolling up on the chat to see the previous chat log, and there are pictures of herself. And I'm sure in the beginning it wasn't even registering. Like, I think if that were me, the first reaction I would have would be, are these deep faked? Because I don't remember taking a single one of these photos. She did not remember a single one of these photos.
Bro, my heart would be in my ass, bro, if I saw myself on this. Bro, what? I can't even imagine. Oh, my gosh.
But they were of her, naked, blindfolded, in her bed. Those were her sheets, her pillow. And there would be, in one picture, it was just like her blindfolded face and two male parts hovering over her. But if she did think it was faked or edited, or maybe not her, just someone who looked like her, those doubts were squashed. She's scrolling, reading as fast as she can, and it's clear that this is a chat between Kevin and James are both assaulting her in her sleep when she's drugged and passed out. So New Year's Day, Jennifer slaps James across the face, wakes him up, and
Should have punched him in his fucking jaw.
shoves the phone in his face. She's like, I need answers right now. She wanted to know everything. What are they talking about? When did it happen? The pictures. When was that? Who was in there? The two men. Who are the men? James quickly confesses to everything. Well, not everything. He says, yeah, so Kevin did assault you. He's basically saying, it was just Kevin. It was just Kevin. He said he took the picture where she's blindfolded and it was just him and Kevin. And she's like, who the hell is Kevin? Jennifer demands James take her to Kevin right now so that she can confront him and see if James is telling the truth.
Take me to Kevin.
James hesitantly drives her to Kevin's
Bring the
place,
knife.
and she starts confronting both of them. They both confess. They're basically on their knees begging for forgiveness and understanding, saying it was a one-time thing. They just wanted to swap wives like one time after drugging them. That's it. Kevin admitted to assaulting Jennifer. James admitted to assaulting Kathy. And they told her it was just a stupid, stupid thing. They were just wanting to try something different, and it was a stupid, stupid fantasy, and they would never do it again. They felt so bad about it.
The amount of apology coming from a person who's caught in their own doo-doo is insane. Like, you will literally see them plead on their knees. Like, nigga. No.
Of that. January 2nd, 2020, the day after, Jennifer went to the police and filed a report.
Let's go.
And that's when the truth starts unraveling. Detailed plans on facilitating the assaults and potential impregnation of their wives by other men. And almost every single assault was documented in depth with pictures and videos. She discovered that her husband James had been live streaming their own intimate moments straight out of their bedroom. Jennifer would later say that James did try to initiate intimacy with her like every other day, and she felt like it was very frequent. So maybe it was for the live streams. And whenever James had any free time, she said that he was constantly these days watching X-rated videos.
Oh my gosh.
Once she caught James trying to call one of his friends while they were having intimate relations.
Huh?
It was weird. Like he tried to play it off probably like it was a butt dial. But it was weird. Later, it's discovered that he likely just wanted his friend to overhear them on the phone. Over the span of 8 years, Jennifer's own husband had fantasized, coordinated, and facilitated numerous assaults
8
against
years?
her. She was assaulted by Owen, Matt, Larry, Kevin, and Nick.
Fuck.
The photos and videos of the assaults were shared to God knows how many people. And in Singapore, there's a very interesting punishment that select prisoners must face.
What is it?
A lot of it is more mental than anything.
Oh,
Psychological.
okay.
If a prisoner is sentenced to this specific punishment, they don't know when it's coming. Every day they wake up in prison wondering, is today the day? Every day they're in prison, other inmates will tell them these horror stories about it. Oh, you were sentenced to that? It's really bad. Really bad. You see that guy over there that's drooling and staring at the wall? He had that punishment. Yeah, never the same ever since then. The other prisoners, they burst out laughing and you have no idea if they're joking around or if they're being serious.
Oh, shit.
Every time a guard makes eye contact with you, you wonder, are they going to call my name? Is it time for my punishment? One prisoner says, each and every day in prison, you sleep, you wake up, and you worry. I waited 3 months before it happened to me. 3 months, I was just waiting.
What is it?
And then it happens.
You get a
Your
cockney
inmate
sandwich?
number and name are called, and you're going. Today is the day. So you try to act nonchalant. You can't show the other prisoners that you're nervous or scared, but you have no idea what's about to happen to you. You and the other prisoners get taken into a waiting room. It's kind of like a viewing room. When you walk in, you notice a giant window that looks directly into another room. And in that second room, there's this big wooden structure. It looks like a contraption, maybe like a giant ladder. And there's muscular men just lined up against the wall. They call them commandos, the men. And they're all holding 5-foot-long sticks, a cane. The sticks are about a ½ inch in diameter, which doesn't sound very thick, but in this case, thinner might be worse. 2 people are escorted into the room with the commandos, the muscular men. They each get changed into a special padded jacket and pants. The pants have a hole where their butts.
Are you serious? This is what I be saying. If this is what it... Let's wait.
are. So now their butts are fully exposed. They're told to bend over the wooden frame. Their ankles are tied down. Their wrists are tied down. They're fully bent over, creating a 90-degree angle. They cannot move. There's a wooden bar on either side of their torso and one supporting their stomach. So they can't move their arms, legs, stomach. They can't scoot backwards. They can't scooch forwards. They're literally just stuck there. Butts up in the air, fully exposed, skin touching air.
So they're wearing special pants with their butt cut out?
Yeah, a hole. And the whole point of this wooden contraption is to make sure that you're held in place and you cannot move. It's one person at a time. So let's say prisoner 1 is tied up to this wooden frame. They get positioned, bent over, butt exposed. Prisoner 2 is in the same room with prisoner 1. They get to watch up and close what's going to happen to prisoner 1, knowing damn well it's going to happen to them next. Then on the other side of the window, staring into the room, are prisoners 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and so on and so forth. And they're all watching, they're all waiting, they're all knowing they're gonna be next.
Bro.
One prisoner said about the waiting room experience, it's like queuing up like idiots, lining up and waiting for your turn to be slaughtered. The commandos then take the 5-foot-long sticks, which, by the way, they made sure to soak it in water last night. That's very important because the sticks can splinter and they don't want that. They don't want it to crack. They hold the cane with both hands like a baseball bat or maybe more like a golf club, and they start swinging it back and forth midair. You're just hearing whoosh, whoosh, whoosh noises. The commandos are trying to intimidate them because the prisoners know they're trying to show how fast they can swing, because in a few seconds, each prisoner is going to get a determined number of strokes on their exposed butt. They're about to get caned. The canes are said to be able to go at about 99.5.
Oh, I thought they were going to shove it in his ass. Damn. I was about to say, this is the perfect punishment for freaky fucks like this. Damn. Damn. Am I terrible for thinking they was finna get probed? I don't care. These niggas deserve it. What the fuck?
42 miles per hour. So to give you perspective, cheetahs are
42
known as the
miles per
fastest
hour?
land animals,
The
and they
fuck?
run at a speed of 60 to 70 miles per hour. 99 miles per hour. The speed of a cane strike is even faster than a burst of speed that a cheetah uses to catch
gosh.
their prey. It's swift, it's explosive, and it's solely there to create pain. Some prisoners have stated that even with the first stroke, the skin and flesh will tear and blood will start oozing out of their butt, but they don't stop. Not until you've gotten the number of strokes that the court has sentenced you. But it's really bad. To give you an idea, no adult is allowed to be sentenced to more than 24 strokes. They have medical personnel there to make sure nobody gets gravely injured or faints. The commandos, the officers administering the strokes, they're incredibly muscular, they're incredibly fit, but even then, they're only allowed to give 6 strokes per officer. They want to make sure each stroke has maximum impact. So if you're sentenced to 24 strokes, they don't want the officer to get tired 10 strokes in.
So they want them to get the maximum amount of pain from that stroke.
Yeah, maximum amount of pain.
Maximum
so every 6
effort.
strokes, you have to wait while a new officer walks in, grabs the cane, cracks his knuckles, practices swinging the cane, gets into position,
How does one get this stroke job?
and then smacks you. And there's nothing you can do.
Oh,
you can't even
shit.
squirm. You're being held down in place. There's prisoners all around you. If you're screaming like a little baby, they're going to talk about it afterwards. The caning officers are trained to not strike at the same spot. So prisoners said that you walk out of there with your butt looking like you sat down on one of those barbecue grills with the lines. The impact is so harsh that it feels like you're getting burned.
Damn.
If the pain is too much for a prisoner and they look like they're about to pass out, the doctor might say, "Stop," and all strokes will stop. But that doesn't mean it's over. That doesn't mean like that prisoner gets to go with half the strokes that they were sentenced. Even if you were sentenced to 6 strokes, but you only do 5 and you can't do it anymore because the doctor says you're going to pass out, that one extra stroke gets translated into extra prison time up to a year. You can't come back and finish the rest of your strokes.
You know, I did hear something like years ago about like punishment in Singapore. I never really like took too much thought to it, but hey, man, shouldn't be doing nasty shit. How about that?
It has to be done at one time. And in a final act of humiliation and pain, prisoners said that they've been told to stand before a panel of 3 prison guards that have been keeping watch the whole time. And after you've been whipped all over your bottom, you have to say, "Thank you." And if you don't thank them for your punishment, you cannot leave.
Oh,
The Singapore government does deny this, but multiple independent prisoners have said it is a requirement. But thanking the panel, the actual strokes, the caning itself, those aren't really the worst part either. The worst, they said, is the recovery. Prisoners are given 1 round of medication for their wounds after they're done. There's no continuous care throughout the healing process. And in the upcoming weeks, you've got all sorts of fluids coming out. Blood, white discharge, pus. You can't even put pants on because, first of all, it's so painful to have anything touching it. Second of all, the pant fabric gets stuck to the open wound and the fabric starts fusing with your skin. It's nearly impossible to take the pants off later without ripping off more of your skin and flesh with it.
damn, this is crazy. Well, shouldn't have been a freaky fuck, huh?
So a prison tip in Singapore, I guess, is to run your trousers under water first. So the water helps separate the fabric from your wound before you take off your pants. A prisoner said if you don't do that, it's just damn pain. Everything is painful, though, after the caning. Taking a shower is painful. Don't even think about sitting down. You have to sleep on your chest. And never mind the fact that you feel extra vulnerable in a place like prison. Like, it's a lot. Some offenders who experienced judicial caning said it was one of the most painful experiences that they have ever had. And because of that, caning as a legal punishment in Singapore has been hotly debated. Judicial caning is really, really complicated. Over 30 different offenses can warrant a caning punishment by the Singaporean government.
Okay.
Robbery, drug trafficking, and sex crimes are just a few. And before anyone feels the sudden aching urge to be xenophobic, the caning punishment was likely introduced during the time that the Britons were colonizing Singapore. So there's that.
Okay.
But it's kind of just stayed in Singaporean law for a plethora of reasons. There's a lot of historical, cultural context that I don't want to bore you with. And even amongst Singaporeans, there's so much debate on whether this is good or bad. The caning debate has even started international debates. Yeah, so the US had a problem with Singapore's punishment when a 19-year-old American was sentenced to 4 strokes for vandalism. The US argued it was cruel and unusual punishment, which is against our constitution. Singapore argued that if you're in Singapore, you abide by Singaporean law, just like how a Singaporean national would do the same if they visited the United States. The US argued it was a deplorable, inhumane punishment for a non-violent crime. Singapore said, well, we do what we want here. But there were
Hey, I'm not gonna lie, that is one hell of a debate, ain't it?
also politicians in Singapore who argued the vandalism in New York City is so bad, even cop cars aren't even safe from them. So this is what we do to curb vandalism. Singapore does have one of the lowest crime rates and is one of the cleanest countries in the whole world. I went on Reddit. It's like 50-50. Even amongst Americans, it's like 50-50 how they
I don't know. What do y'all think? For vandalism? I don't know. I'm conflicted on that. But definitely for sex crimes. Get them. Stroke that motherfucking butt. Hey.
feel about this. The 19-year-old American, Michael, said he had just 4 strokes, but it was really bad. When he first saw his scars, he cried, thinking that he would have them for the rest of his life. Oof. He said when he was first caned, his skin ripped open and there was so much blood, it felt like nosebleeds. It doesn't feel like just a, oops, blood broke. And this is after the U.S. helped get his caning sentence down to 4.
Damn.
4 is known to be on the low end of the punishment. But he said it was miserable. His scars were agonizingly painful. And then once the pain was over, you think you're in the clear, you're not. It's like unbearably itchy. You want to lose your mind. It's so itchy and pus is leaking out if you itch too hard. Caning was again in international news when a British national was caught with drugs in Singapore. He was sentenced to the maximum of 24 strokes. He said to this day he has bowel problems because of how bad the caning was. And
You can't do no more. That's crazy.
now he wants to raise awareness to put a stop to caning. He said it causes permanent physical and psychological damage to the offenders. Human rights activists have agreed and said it's considered a form of torture. And the argument here is it's enforcing violence. Like you are trying to enforce law and order through violence. And really, who gets to decide something like that? Human rights activists have argued that the government just arbitrarily decides punishments. For example, robbery during the daytime, the mandatory minimum is 6 strokes. But if it's nighttime, it's 12. But on the flip side, one attorney who had been caned for a crime before said, well, the rules are known before you commit a crime, so it's not really like a surprise. So I accept the punishment. The sentiment was, should we really fight for the, quote, humanity of criminals when they can't do that for victims? Like, is this really the hill that human rights activists are going to die on? That's the argument from the opposing side. A lot of people also questioned the cruelty of the punishment. You know, a lot of human rights activists said, it seems like a big part of the punishment is the mental trauma. I don't know if I want to call it trauma, but the mental torture aspect. They don't know when it's coming. The strikes are done in such a very meticulous, methodical way. The way that they whip it back and forth, they have to thank the panel. But for the same point, it could be argued there is mental trauma for every victim of every crime. And I think for this one, most Singaporeans were not sad to hear that the husbands in this case were facing caning punishment on top of their prison sentences. Because
do we know how many?
oh yeah, we're about to know.
Let's do it.
Because even
Let's go.
during the trial, James still managed to blame his wife for everything.
Yeah, cane him 24 times. No, like, what are you? How are you so stupid? You finna get that cane, my boy. You finna get that cane.
I mean, in a very interesting choice, James stated he would be representing himself in the trial, and he really played the victim part. I mean, he looked sorrowful. He was dragging his feet, wincing at the remorse that he felt inside of his soul. James admitted to raping the wives of 2 of the other men, but he only did it because he wanted to be good friends to these guys. He did it as a friend. He didn't want to do it. Like, you know, when your friend asks you to take them to the airport.
No, fuck that. Maximum caning.
You don't want to take them to the airport, but you do it because you're a good friend. That's why he said he to these women. It's not because he was genuinely interested in their wives. It's not because he was an assaulter. He did it to, quote, reciprocate their friendship and their help.
So in short, he still doesn't understand what he did. No remorse.
No.
Still, yeah.
And then when the judge is like, I'm not going to listen to that, he looks for something else. He said, actually, I find it really hurtful to be stereotyped by media as someone who thinks and behaves like these wife-swapping husbands. He said that he was pushed into doing what he did. He said that he doesn't have an interest or kink in something like this, not like the other perpetrators. No. He said, my wife cheated on me twice. And I did things that I'm not proud of, but we mutually hurt each other. And her betrayal, cheating on him, was the reason that he did what he did. It contributed to his actions. He said,
No, you cheating on her got her to cheat on you. And then, boom, this happened. You started this, dumbass.
the shocking discovery of my wife's affairs triggered these offenses. When describing his wife's alleged second affair, he wrote, to further rub salt into the injury, my wife had another affair with her colleague. He claimed that his wife taunted, mocked, and humiliated him, and that all these events pushed him over the edge and made him want to lash out in retaliation. But, remember, that's not a good excuse, first of all. Second of all, for 8 years...
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. However... he argued he should have a light punishment because he was, quote, sincerely regretful of his wrongdoings and he wanted to submit himself to receive punishment as soon as possible.
Nigga, 8 years, multiply that by 3. Nigga, 24 canings.
He brought in letters for the judge from all 4 of his
Fuck
daughters.
them letters.
Character witness letters, which thankfully were not read in court.
I'm sorry. Your dad is a freaky fuck.
Another letter from his mom, who argued that he was a great son and great family man, and you can see probably how he ended up this way as well.
Cap.
A letter from his wife to show that his family wanted him home. That's what he said that letter said. I don't think that's what that letter said at all. So when he realized that the judge was feeling less than sympathetic, James starts changing his tune. He starts accusing the media. He starts accusing the journalists and the reporters for over-sensationalizing the story. He said the reporters were, quote, irresponsible and unethical for trying to make his case about explicit videos and fantasies of wife swapping. He said, that's totally not what I am in reality.
Then what is he?
To blame.
Yeah, which it is very true. That's not what he is in reality. He is not a wife swapper. He is an R-worder.
Yeah.
But essentially, he blamed everyone for his actions, from his wife to his co-perpetrators to even netizens and the press. He even argued with the judge that netizens and media have made it so hard for his wife. He said, right now, oh, get this.
What
Now you're worried about your wife. Okay, all right, buddy.
is going? Wow.
This
He
nigga
said this
is
with his full chest.
crazy.
He said, right now, my main concern is the safety of my wife as well as my children. So I would like to seek your honor's consideration in putting me to go for legal assessment and diagnosis of what's really going on in my mind. He's basically saying, look, I'm going to get some therapy. Can you just let me out so I can protect my wife?
Nigga, no.
Netizens were shocked because he is the danger to his wife.
Right.
What are you saying right now? One comment read, don't you just love it when these disgusting criminals whine about how people treat or view them? They whine about injustice they receive, and yet they're the ones who got themselves there in the first place because of the disgusting things they do to other people.
Boo-hoo.
Another comment reads, his legal arguments are so dumb. At this point, he's a danger to himself. When all of these things didn't work out, he starts pulling out psychiatric findings. He said he was diagnosed to be addicted to sex. To be more precise, he and his therapist agreed that he had compulsive sexual behavior, which I think is a wild argument to make. Addiction is real. How is that relevant? It's not an excuse nor a mitigating factor for a crime.
Right.
So just to clarify, this is a very real diagnosis that can have big impact on people's lives. It's described as an intense focus on fantasies or urges or behaviors and a pattern of failure to control such impulses, which ultimately result in repetitive negative sexual behavior. Okay, that doesn't impact anything that he did, and it just doesn't make sense. I mean, first of all, the prosecutors don't even believe that he has that diagnosis, and second of all, they argued, even if he has it, all that is a rapist who claims they're addicted to sex, and all that means is he has a high sex drive, which honestly could be argued it makes him more dangerous to be a free man. The judge seemed to agree.
This guy is dumb.
Now, side note, James would then go on to make more arguments. He's like, Judge, before you decide, I have low self-esteem. I have self-doubt in my masculinity, and those were contributing factors to why I did what I did.
Okay.
Nobody cared because those things do not impair judgment or decision-making capabilities. And considering all the aggravating factors for these specific crimes, like nobody had sympathy. There was significant planning and premeditation,
fuck
the
this
victim's
nigga.
vulnerability, exposure to risk of sexual disease and unwanted pregnancies, violation of the sanctity of the victim's home, recording and dissemination of the incident, betrayal of trust, and abuse of trust. The judge said, James does not appear to have fully understood the gravity of his offenses.
Yeah.
Although he's indicated that he wishes to own up and take responsibility and accept the punishment that's due, I could not ignore the fact that all the written pleas were all just self-serving attempts to deflect responsibility and shift blame to others, particularly his co-accused. Most regrettably, the accused has resorted to a form of victim blaming, suggesting that there is a reason for his offending.
Yeah.
The judge pointed out that James himself had affairs. So what are you on this high sensitive horse about? You too cheated on your wife before any of this happened. You cheated first while she was pregnant.
Dumb.
Mm-hmm.
The judge also noticed that James was trying to downplay the seriousness of his offenses by claiming that he was unfairly labeled as a sexual predator. The judge was over it. Jennifer, his wife, said in an impact statement that she felt so hurt, angry, disappointed, and overwhelmed with the sense of betrayal. She expressed that she had dark thoughts and thought at one point she would be better off dead than have to deal with this. She said, I kept thinking about how cruel he was to do this to me. She said at first she thought it was just one person that had assaulted her. But more and more started to come out. And likely her brain went into self-protection mode and started to block everything out. Because she said that slowly, I chose not to feel anything about it. I wanted to focus my energy to take care of my children and family. So I just became numb. Kevin's wife said something similar. She said she felt like dying, but tries to manage her emotions by not thinking about it and just blocking it out. Which, side note, many of the wives chose to stay married to their husbands. And yeah, before we judge, I do think that there's a lot of reasons why. Even if we can agree it's maybe not the best choice, I don't think judgment is the solution.
That's true.
One Redditor has stated very eloquently,
My heart goes out to
and
them.
this is speculation, we'll never really know why they chose to stay, nor do we have the right to know. But the Redditor stated, there's so many nuances behind abuse that us internet bystanders don't see. The abuse begins from the very beginning of the relationship, creating a dependence on the abuser socially, financially, emotionally, and psychologically. That dependence, it takes a very long time to go away. It's not as simple as walking away. What the victims need is a supportive network of friends and family that are willing to forgive them and for whatever hurt they've caused because of their toxic relationships. And that's the first step of healing and recovering a damaged psyche. Another Redditor commented, this is beyond getting angry and walking away. The couple's lives are so intertwined, and we're looking at couples who've been married for decades. Maybe some of them financially depend on their husbands. They've got multiple children. And on top of that, they're going through all these complex feelings, which is so difficult to process. Maybe they feel the need to keep it a secret. Maybe they feel the need to process the emotions first before they do something life-changing.
Yeah. Like, I just listen to the way James handles himself in court.
Yeah.
Like, let's say he didn't even do anything illegal. Just imagine that's your husband for 10 years.
Yeah,
Or,
the level of
like-
psychological abuse she's
Yeah.
probably been through where nothing is his fault. It's always your fault. If I hurt your feelings, it's because you hurt mine first.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy how he talks about his wife in court.
Yeah.
So the men, though, of course, they use their wives staying as the best legal strategy ever. Of course they did. Larry is one of the guys, right? Larry's attorney even argued that Larry and his wife have a good relationship now, so the judge should take that into consideration.
Nigga, no.
Side note about Larry. Larry's wife actually caught him doing all of this. She woke up while she was being assaulted.
Oh,
Let me take it back. September 1st, 2017, Larry
Fuck.
was sharing a glass of wine with his wife, Lucy. And he's all up in this little circle of
I don't just imagine having a fucking web of this shit. Ew, yo.
crimes. And of course, he spikes Lucy's drink and he's so excited. This is the first time that he's bringing his wife into the equation. He had already assaulted Jennifer and he had been consuming all the videos and photos shared in the group chat between the husbands, but he had never gotten his own wife involved. He made sure that she was knocked out, and following the others, he blindfolded his wife, dragged her unconscious body to the bed. He texted his colleague, so not a random man he met on the internet, his work colleague, Parker, and told him, it's time. Come over. Lucy is, quote, ready for you. Parker would claim that he had no clue that Lucy was going to be drugged up when he showed up. He said that Larry started confiding in him at work that Lucy wanted to have a threesome. That's his argument. I don't know if I believe it. Take it with a grain of salt.
Okay, Parker shows up, unconscious wife laying on the bed.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? You're
So-
committing a crime.
Right. What does he do? He takes off his clothes and starts performing unsolicited sexual acts on Lucy. But he's like, oh no, I thought she consented. It's dumb, right? Yeah. And he did not use protection. None of these guys did.
Yeah.
Thankfully, Parker could not fully assault Lucy because he had erectile dysfunction. So he could not maintain the right faculties to do so. But he did continue to molest her. And that's when she started moving around. She started grumbling, felt a man on her. So she gets up, takes off her blindfold. Parker's running with he's like grabbing his clothes from the ground, running out the door at this point. Lucy seeing this, like there is a strange man running out the door.
With
Her
ED.
husband doesn't seem startled. She's putting two and two together. She's piecing it together. She confronts her husband, Larry, who's just like, yeah, it happened. He confesses to everything. Lucy forces Larry to write a confession letter, demands Larry to get his coworker, Parker, to write a confession letter. And she just wants to know what happened that night. She wanted to know the truth. It is unknown if Larry's wife, Lucy, went to the police with the confessions. But Larry argued later in court that they should go easy on him because he and his wife were good now. Larry would get 13 years and 6 months in prison for his crimes. And zero cane strikes. Because Larry is 50. And there is an interesting law that you have to be a man under 50 to be
Really?
struck with a cane by the court.
That's
Parker, the
interesting.
colleague who came to assault Larry's wife Lucy but couldn't successfully maintain his faculties, he pled guilty and was only given 3 years in prison. A lot of netizens felt like this wasn't enough. His whole
Fuck.
thing was that he actually didn't end up following through with the assault with Lucy. Like, that was his argument. Well, I didn't actually assault her, but netizens argue, yeah, it wasn't a choice, though.
Yeah.
It's not because you were a good person. It wasn't a choice. You literally couldn't. And then we have the others. Kevin, the man who drugged his wife Kathy and facilitated her assaults, he was given 22 years and 20 cane strokes.
Yeah.
Matt, the man who helped drug his ex-wife Mary and facilitated her assault, he was sentenced to 20 years in prison and 20 cane strokes.
Okay.
And Nick is the food delivery driver that assaulted Jennifer. His attorney took another interesting approach. These attorneys are all unhinged, I'm telling you, okay? They argued that Nick was the only one without a wife. So he should get a lesser sentence because his does not have the aggravated additional aspect of abuse of trust. Since, these weren't his wives and he didn't get his own wife involved. But the prosecutors looked at him and they said, yeah, no, that doesn't make sense. Nick is not married. It's not possible for him to even offer up a wife to be assaulted. Offer up. So it shouldn't be a mitigating factor that makes him seem more empathetic. Surely, if he had a wife, he likely would have. Again, same with Parker. You didn't have a choice. Nick was sentenced to 18 years in prison and 20 cane strokes. James and Owen were tried separately. James was sentenced to 29 years in prison and the maximum cane punishment of 24 cane strokes.
Yes.
James looked defeated when he was sentenced.
Damn.
And he said he didn't say this, but he dug deep and somehow found courage to appeal his sentence. He says that he wants to appeal for 2 reasons. 1, he claims that his wife wants him home. And 2, he feels like he wasn't represented well by his initial attorneys
Bro, this
before he
guy's
took over.
so
Unhinged.
What's wrong with him, bro? What the
I
fuck?
can't, it's how unlikable of a person,
Ugh.
even at this
Yeah.
moment.
And you can just tell the judges are over him. So the judge is like, your family's not even showing up to support you. And all I got from your wife was a letter of her victim impact statement where she basically had thoughts of death and was the only redeeming factor was she said she felt numb now. Okay.
This nigga said they want me home and they're not even in court to. They want you home so bad that they're home right now? Like,
That's
what?
it. And she's focusing on her kids. But you keep saying your wife wants you home. Your wife loves you. Your wife supports you. Your wife wouldn't want this for you. Again, still using his wife to try and get something that he wants. As of 2023, we are still awaiting his appeal. With Owen, he went on trial August of this year, and Owen argued that he never wanted to assault Jennifer. James invited him and forced him to do things to Jennifer. He never wanted this to happen. Owen stated he felt scared and he only did it to get out of the situation. It was arguably not a bright legal move because there were literal messages between Owen and James where they were talking about drugging Jennifer and doing this. Owen even cutely named the whole plan Operation Jennifer.
Bro.
He even nervously messaged James, like, what if we're caught? So clearly he knew. He was convicted and he will be sentenced January of 2024. He is facing 20 years in prison with a fine or caning punishment.
Cane him too.
The judge presiding over this case said it was, quote, one of the most astonishing and atrocious cases of sexual assault to ever come before this court. Many victims are able to lean on family members, including their husbands, to deal with the after effects of trauma after an assault like this. But these women cannot do that because it was their husbands that did this. It is such a gross betrayal of trust. The prosecutors on this case stated, when a woman enters into a marriage, she entrusts herself to her husband. She trusts that the man who sleeps beside her will not harm her as she sleeps. She trusts that in sickness, her husband, the father of her children, will not poison her with drugs passed off as medicine.
Right.
She trusts that her husband will keep private their most intimate sexual moments together. Instead, the men breach their wives' trust on every front. Netizens commented, the law must severely punish them to prevent ruining society. Others said, why can't we publicize their names? As for Sammy Boy, it is still an up and running site. A lot of Singaporean netizens want the site to be fully taken down, and they're confused how it's still up and running in a country where even chewing gum is banned. Did you know chewing gum is...
What?
Yeah.
Chewing gum is banned in Singapore. It's illegal.
Really?
That's
So
what I was.
laws are more
That's what I was told when I heard about the law.
lax now. I think there's some provisions where you can bring in enough chewing gum for personal use. If you import chewing gum to the extent where it looks like you're going to distribute it or sell it, you can face a fine or go to prison.
Oh shit.
They really don't like, they're crazy about cleanliness and order in Singapore. And there was a problem with chewing gum being just like stuck onto
Everywhere.
floors. I mean, so chewing gum is banned. And they're like, how is this website not banned? But apparently it's very complicated. Sammy Boy servers are not based in Singapore, which if they were, Singaporean authorities could just seize them and arrest all of those
Wow.
operating the website. But since it's not, the only other option they have is to try and block the site from being viewed in Singapore. But one, people could just get a VPN. And two, they said it's like whack-a-mole. So Sammy Boy constantly changes the URL to the explicit forum to keep the website restricted would take so much coordinated oversight and taxpayer dollar. It
That's
would be insane.
crazy.
So Sammy Boy still thrives with who knows how much illegal content being uploaded and distributed on there. And again, this is not me saying Sammy Boy is all bad and everyone on there is bad and doing illegal, shady, gross things. That's not what I said at all. But we have to admit there definitely is a dark underbelly to this forum. But I
Yeah.
will say, before you lose hope in humanity, most people everywhere usually are still sane and logical. And I hope that these husbands are just a small portion.
Yeah, me too.
But someone
Shit.
did make a very grim comment about this. They wrote, these are the only ones who got caught. Imagine how many hundreds are out there doing the same wife sharing without their wives knowing. So, what are your thoughts on this case? Please be safe, and I will see you guys on Sunday for the mini-sode. Bye.
Man, I'm the one thing that I could say is my heart goes out to those wives. Second thing I could say is it seems like almost all of them got the maximum, so I'm happy about that. That caning thing kind of makes me happy for these freaky fucks. There is a debate to be had on the other ones. What do y'all think about that? I thought they were going to shove it up their butt, but I guess that's a little bit too graphic, but yeah. What we need to learn from this is that one, don't rape your wife or anybody. Two, if you do the crime, you better show that bare ass because you're gonna get caned, buddy, and you deserve to get caned. You're not gonna be sitting down no more. You probably won't even be able to shit no more. And guess what? You fucking deserve it, bitch.